band. They are the rarest of beasts, a German supergroup. They are Rammstein. It's from the latest album. The song is called Radio, and there are a couple of reasons why I wanted to share it with you. You surely recognize the setting. The video was filmed here at Messe Berlin. But what I really like is how this song celebrates technology. The role of technology in giving us access to information and entertainment, and how important it is that information, that news is unbiased and uncensored. Media and technology shape society, and Rammstein's song really is about how technology and media are two of the cornerstones of freedom. Today, of course, it's not just the radio that's our main source information. Most of us get their news from small devices in our pockets. IFA started life as a showcase for radio technology. Today, we are the world's leading showcase for the 21st century media and entertainment technologies. And if you want to see the cutting edge of where innovation will take us, we've made it really easy for you. After this keynote, as you leave, set aside some time and wander to both sections of Hall 26 to explore IFA Next. Spread out around our two innovation hubs are amazing startups and some of the companies shaping the technologies of tomorrow. It's here where you find the cutting edge, from augmented robotics and clever health monitors for senior citizens, to smart wearables for industrial applications. You will find leading research institutes, for example from Korea, from Germany of course, alongside big brands like Amazon and Segway. And of course, there's our innovation partner country for IFA Next 2019, Japan. Have a good look at all these companies on the Japanese booth. They will give you a glimpse of the future of what's arguably one of the biggest challenges, the interface between humans and machines. And okay, I hope you didn't miss out on our first keynote this morning with Richard Yu, the Chief Executive of Huawei. After we've brought you a top speaker from the East, I think it's time to head around the globe. And this afternoon, let me present to you a great speaker from the West. The past 2 or 3 decades here at IFA have been all about the digital revolution. It has transformed already our lives. If data is the rocket fuel for this transformation, then the rocket itself is made from mobile technology and connectivity. It has unleashed our potential and made the impossible possible. It changed how we do business, entertain ourselves, how we communicate with each other. Without wireless connectivity, there would not be smart homes. That's the sentence. No industrial internet, no connected cars, and we would not have supercomputers in our pockets, which I hear some people consult first thing in the morning and last thing at night. I know, none of you here would ever do such a thing. Good connectivity allows us not only to watch cat videos during our daily commute, it helps us to stay in touch with friends and with family, be productive wherever we go, maybe even write the next breakthrough novel. How's your book project coming along? Me, I have yet to decide on a topic. I have some ideas. Seriously, I thought, if there's one name that's synonymous with the world of mobile computing and connectivity, then it's Qualcomm. Because innovation is not just about devices, it's about the components that make them tick. And in the mobile world, that usually starts with Qualcomm's ubiquitous Snapdragon processors and continues across the whole value chain of platforms, processors, and connectivity. Now Qualcomm is unlocking the next gen of wireless technology as the undisputed leader in 5G powering next generation mobile networks. And just to be clear, the transformation of 5G will be about more than the phones in your hand. The real game changer will be what's happening in the world all around us. I predict the vast majority of devices you can see at IFA today, 5 years from now, they will have some kind of 5G connectivity built in. But Qualcomm is also a leader in other technologies, microprocessors, and of course, and Wi-Fi 6, the technology that will double the range of your home network and triple its speed. So, continuing the IFA keynote tradition, taking you to the technological edge, I welcome this afternoon's speaker, Cristiano Amon, the president of Qualcomm. Thank you.
Without doubters, there would be no one to prove wrong. They didn't believe we could reinvent cell technology.
It's really quite impressive what y'all have put together here.
And they didn't believe we could make 5G work.
If we listened to them, we wouldn't have 5G.
There's always the old way of doing it, and perhaps a newer, better way of doing it.
Saying yes when everyone else is saying no is the lifeblood of Qualcomm.
Qualcomm was investing in 5G many years before it was actually defined.
The consensus was millimeter wave wouldn't work for mobile.
Everyone's a critic.
They thought new antennas would make the phone too bulky.
First they said 5G wasn't possible, then they said it wouldn't be practical, and then they said it wasn't necessary.
We're always going to have critics. You don't get 5G-enabled phones, connected cars, smart factories, or create millions of jobs by listening to those who tell you something can't be done. You get there by proving it can.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Qualcomm President Cristiano Amon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. I'm very pleased to be here. This is exciting time for Europe and for the world. Also, exciting for me. It's the first time Qualcomm has an IFA keynote. And this is a very important show for the industry, and we're very happy. The reason we're also excited is because 5G is here. We are extremely proud to be part of bringing this amazing technology to the market this year in 2019. Our company for the past 30 years has been inventing technologies to transform how the world connects, computes, and communicates. But the year of 2019 is a significant moment because it will fuel a new era of innovation and significant growth for the wireless industry, even beyond the traditional applications that we know today. And commercializing 5G will present those new opportunities to all of us, going from smartphones to everything. 5G is going to lead us to a future where everything will be connected and intelligent. And the way to think about this is everything is going to be connected to the cloud. And as you bring things to the cloud, you bring to the edge devices the power of the cloud. So you think about the unlimited access to data, plus the computing power of the cloud. You can connect those things and you get to artificial intelligence and machine learning applications into about everything. So it's about having connected devices with the ability to benefit from artificial intelligence and higher capabilities of the cloud. That's the reason that we believe in the 5G transition. 5G and AI will evolve side by side. And that will create an era of accelerated innovation, transforming virtually every industry. We'll create new jobs, will change productivity, and improve significantly the experience of the mobile devices to enrich our lives. And we would like to share a little bit of that with you today. And I will start by answering the question, what is 5G? Every generation of wireless came to solve a problem. Or the better way to say it is to meet an industry demand. So when we started with 2G, it was about going from analog to digital. Can we create a technology that allow everyone on Earth to have a portable telephone? When we moved to 3G, it was about understanding that there was the emergence and the growth of internet. Could you bring data and connect the device to the internet? In 4G, then we have a much bigger transformation. It was the transformation not only on wireless to embrace mobile broadband, but also to change the computing paradigm from desktops PC to bring computers to the palm of your hand. And with that, I don't have to tell you about how pervasive and profound the transformation caused by 4G in our society, bringing social media, ride-sharing services, streaming media, etc. The problem that 5G came to solve is the understanding we have today that everything wants and will benefit from being connected. That's the reason that is a good comparison, and we've been saying that since the beginning of this journey, that is a good comparison with electricity. We will talk about 5G use cases today, but we don't talk about electricity use cases today. We just assume it's there. And that's how we're going to think about everything being connected. It's how to build connectivity for a connected world as pervasive as electricity, from smartphones to everything. Build connectivity for users that want fast, unlimited data, and for services that are going to continue to evolve, taking the advantage of the power of the cloud. High performance, multi-gigabit connectivity that is responsive, always available, and reliable. That's the promise of 5G. And that is the reason that we can move from smartphones to then PCs, the automotive industry, manufacturing, connected enterprise, smart cities, scaling to billions of devices that will benefit from the technology. And I want just to summarize by saying that this is a moment that it's the great moment for the telecom industry, because in every other transition of wireless, that was part of the telecommunications industry. We'll still refer to 3G and 4G as a technology for the telecommunications industry. 5G is different. 5G is now essential and part of the automotive industry, the Internet of Things, the telecommunications, the energy industry, and so forth. And that is the biggest opportunity, also how we should think about the development of this technology to support its multiple use cases. And when we think about user experiences, 5G will transform the user experience. I mentioned the transformation of 4G with the smartphones, but 5G will be significantly better than 4G, and therefore the transformation of the industry will be as relevant. When you start with the popular applications we use today, browsing, social media, video streaming, and you compare the performance of what we do every day with our phones with 4G LTE, we see improvements in the order of 3 times or more. But the improvements are across all aspects of the user experience, because we started to have more responsive device with low latency, and we bring the cloud closer. And what that really means is the transformation of those services that we use every day. And I'll start by mentioning video. In 4G, across all of the devices we have, we stream music. And now we take that for granted. Not only in our devices, also in our car. I'm sure there's few of us that bring CDs to the car these days. And 4G was able to have enough coverage and performance for you to stream music. 5G will be the platform for distribution of video. And streaming video at high resolution video in mobile devices and every other screen, 5G will be the principal and the main platform for that distribution. It will modify social. When we think about social, we think about the ability to share information and get notifications. 5G will introduce the element of virtual presence and fundamentally change social interactions. as devices could also change, and the goal is the technology could enable the virtual presence between real and virtual, people interacting directly. And you can think of many applications you can have even beyond consumers with that. It will drive augmented reality. The processing power of the devices in the cloud, the low latency allow that technology to finally materialize and scale. And one that is my favorites, and I will talk about that later in my presentation, is the experience of cloud gaming, which will finally bring mainstream gaming to the mobile ecosystem, as we started to see signs of the transformation today. But then stop there. It's very likely, as we see in the industry, that form factors will change with 5G as it changed with any other technology transition. It's about bringing a more immersive experience to the users, making the benefit of that you are now connected with the cloud 100% of the time in a reliable manner. That will change devices. We see the emergence of foldable screen with larger surface areas. And with that, we'll see the emergence of the super apps. We are seeing today a consolidation of what are the key services that people use it on their phones. And the apps now, that become more and more powerful. As you enable them with 5G, the apps have the unlimited processing power of the cloud. You have access to unlimited data. Therefore, we started to see rate of improvement on the apps more than we see on the OS. And that is another shift in their industry that will create a lot of choices as we basically see the new experiences being driven from the cloud as you are connected with the cloud 100% of the time. And that's a great opportunity. So now I want to tell you where we are in the global deployment of 5G. It is a global phenomenon right now, and it's moving very fast. So to make a comparison, when we started the transition of 4G, we have 4 carriers and the few devices in the first year in a very limited geography. And that's how we started with 4G. Now compare to where we are in 5G right now. It's for the first time, a wireless transition is happening simultaneously in all leading economies in the world. United States, Europe, Japan, Korea, Australia, China, and many others are building 5G networks, and they're building within the accelerated program in 2019. Over 20 operators in 10 countries, which more to be announced this year. Over 20 plus, over 20 OEMs launching devices within 2019. And the number of operators that are launching 5G are operators that today are responsible for 2.2 billion mobile subscribers. This is an impressive milestone in many aspects, and I would like to break that down for you. The first one is the understanding that 5G has an impact in the society and in the economy that is just beyond faster smartphones. Therefore, it is now understood as a technology that is part of the digital transformation of many industries and is about maintaining a competitive economic environment. That has been understood, and that's why there's been raised in importance across many geographies. The other reason this is significant and impressive when you do a comparison. When 4G was launched, it was by operators that only cover about 120 million subscribers. When you compare that with 2.2 billion, in the same time span is a significant metric that indicates how fast this transition is going to be. And when we think about our role as enabler of industries in a model, a horizontal model, that it's about partnering with many companies in this ecosystem, from operators to device makers to application developers to ecosystem providers. I want to use this opportunity at IFA to also reflect, when we look at this global rollout of 5G, of what we had done well as an industry and what do we have ahead of us to do. And I'm also very encouraged by the progress, but I think we need, to continue the effort in the intensity that got us this far. So we've done very well developing a global technology that is going to be deployed, across the globe and across industries 1 year ahead of schedule to launch in 2019. That is just the first step. The next step is to build coverage. And coverage requires not only spectrum, but also availability of sites, investments in an effort to complete ecosystem. And I think that's where we are. And the announcements we're going to make at the show today is about how do we scale 5G. And I think that's now the next biggest milestone for the industry. Continue to add coverage, accelerate coverage, and then continue to optimize performance of the technology. And hopefully some of the announcements we're going to make at the show today will provide encouragement for many partners that we are ready to scale 5G. Now, I want to go back to Europe. And just focusing on Europe, it's amazing as we look into leadership in many European carriers to being not only first to 5G in many aspects, but how broad is the deployment of 5G that we're going to see within the coming months. Operators include British Telecom, Deutsche Telekom, Elisa, Sunrise, Swisscom, Telecom Italia, Vodafone, and that's only the beginning. But the best is also coming to Europe as we started to see the potential and the activities to roll out millimeter wave in addition to sub-6 and the mid bands. And that's how 5G is being designed as a technology. We need as much spectrum as we can get. And 5G is about having the new bands, the mid bands, the sub-6, is about deploying millimeter wave for the full potential of the technology and refarming existing spectrum. And what we're going to talk about that today and some of these announcements is exactly how you can make that happen. And millimeter wave is becoming a reality also in Europe. A month ago, there was a testing lab in Europe to help manufacturers make devices ready to be commercialized, and we look forward to seeing those devices very soon. So as you think of this 5G journey, how do we get here? And this is the result of a multi-year journey to 5G. A journey that we're not alone. It's a journey of, an ecosystem and a journey of the mobile industry that is really, striving to get, this technology commercialized in 2019. It's about the role that we play as a creator of standards to develop fundamental technologies for advanced connectivity and high-performance lower computing, combining with the role that our many partners have in the industry with their collective R&D, years of R&D that has started as back as 2016, prototypes, industry-leading creation of IP that help us drive the 5G global standardization process in collaboration with the ecosystem. And reminding of the key milestones in this journey, in early 2017, we work with few leaders across operators, infrastructure vendors, and device makers to accelerate 5G by a year so we could realize the benefits of this technology to the mobile ecosystem and other industries as soon as possible. We release a family of products, and the end result is what we call making the impossible inevitable. Through a lot of skepticism, 5G came in 2019, not with clunky devices that look like a test device, and people had to wait years until it became, a commercial device for a mature smartphone society that you're willing to buy now and carry with you every day. It came from a technology acceleration right into market with a very competitive flagship. And I like to point, as a remarkable feat of engineering, our joint work with Samsung on the Galaxy, S10 5G. Not only bringing the sub-6, but also millimeter wave in a commercial device with an all-day battery life. And I think that's the power of having a model which is not about one company, but is about bringing a whole ecosystem together. And devices is what's going to help us scale 5G. Since that launch in 2019, which is a result of a lot of work of many operators, infrastructure partners, and device makers, we're now seeing multiple devices come to market with 5G. And the number is now 150 global designs with Qualcomm 5G solution. Going from premium tier to starting to see mass market devices, building with our 5G technology and our modem to antenna RF front end. And there's no better validation of 5G leadership than actually seeing the devices in the market. And I think that's where we are, especially when we talk about flagship. Virtually every operator around the world that's launched 5G has launched with a Qualcomm Snapdragon-based 5G device. And starting with flagship devices that could go, side by side with the flagship devices you have today for 4G, in both how attractive the industrial design is, but the performance with all-day battery life. And that is the beginning of what is, the scale of an ecosystem. And what I would like, 2 comments on this 5G transition. This is the first time that we got devices ahead of the network. And it's not by coincidence. It's because we now have a very mature smartphone user base. That's now our inseparable device. And we need to enable the operators to have that ecosystem ready so you can start providing new devices with dynamic spectrum sharing, which I'll talk in a little bit, and then you start building coverage. And we're very proud of what we'll be able to do as an industry and what Qualcomm was able to do to enable the device ecosystem. With that, we want to make a few announcements today. And I'll start by saying, when you think of 5G performance, the old metrics of performance or how modem technology works are no longer adequate. So one of the key announcements we have for this show is the expansion of our X55 5G modem platform and the expansion of what is the benchmark for modem performance to modem plus RF. The complexity that is required by the 5G technology across multiple frequencies, across multiple antennas with massive MIMO, and how you actually deliver on the promise of speeds and reliability require new benchmarks for performance that is across everything that happened on the digital side through the analog and the antenna. And that's how we're going to start communicating about modem performance. And the announcement that we're making today on the X55, I will break that down in 3 pieces. The first one, the X55 modem is going to be the modem performance for the Qualcomm next flagship Snapdragon solution. The second, the benchmark and features that you're going to see go beyond the performance that you could get on the modem by taking now a complete system approach from the modem to antenna. And the number 3 part of the announcement is a significant expansion of the feature set to accommodate a broad ecosystem of use cases. By the way, a few comments on the X55 that is worth highlighting. Is the fastest modem available in the industry with 7 gigabits per second performance. Is our second generation Snapdragon 5G modem. When you talk about sub-6 speeds, we accomplished over 2 gigabits of performance in 4G. That's what we have done in 4G last year. Our 5G performance in sub-6 exceeds 4 gigabits per second. And the expansion of feature sets is no longer just about speed. First, and the most important one, is about extend coverage to every possible band that operators have so they can accelerate the migration of 5G with dynamic spectrum sharing. Dynamic spectrum sharing allows 5G and 4G devices to coexist, so you can start, distributing 5G devices. You can start upgrading your spectrum without having to clear the entire spectrum from the 4G users. And with that, you have a more economical and faster way to build coverage. It's about significantly improving throughput, reliability, and coverage using the combination of modem and RF to extend the radius of the cell site. It's about adding new capabilities, such as high power use cases for fixed wireless. And we have another announcement to make later today about that use case. It's about introducing now 5G roaming with broadband support and multi-SIM capability integrated with the front end. And all of this capability we're going to see in our second generation modem in devices late 2019. And the last comment about why are we so focused on using the broad basket of technologies from digital to analog all the way to the antenna is because it's about making devices not only with the best possible capability of the 5G technology, but also manage emissions of RF within safety standards, and giving operators also the ability to extend coverage with 5G so that the transition from 4G to 5G with existing sites is very easy. And I think that's what's really important about the feature set expansion and the new set of modem benchmarks for the X55. And that is the modem for next generation flagship Snapdragon. But the second announcement and the main announcement of the show today is how we're going to scale 5G. And I said at the beginning of the presentation, that is our next industry challenge. We launched this technology, but now we're committed to drive the proliferation of 5G across all device tiers. We want all of the users to have the benefit of this technology. And we're basically announcing today is that we're expanding 5G and bringing that to our 7 and 6 series Snapdragon. Building on the news, the integrated Snapdragon platform in the 7 series and the 6 series will be commercialized, and we're announcing for that commercialization in the 7000 series our integrated solution. I have here to show you, this is our first reference design. We have now 12 OEMs already engaged, and commercial readiness of that solution is at the last quarter of this calendar year. And that is our goal. We got to this point, we launched 5G, we want everyone to have it, and with this technology, the 7 series Snapdragon, 7 nanometer platform, our next generation AI engine, Snapdragon Elite Gaming, and our second generation 5G modem, we're going to bring 5G to scale with our many partners. We're very excited about that. And rather than you hear about me excited about 5G, I would like to bring somebody from the industry. It's my personal friend and somebody that is equally excited with Qualcomm about the potential of this technology, the new use cases, and how we're going to scale 5G. It's my pleasure to bring here to stage Dr. Alex Choi from Deutsche Telekom.
Hi, Cristiano. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so
this
much
wonderful
for being
event.
here. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Berlin. Hello, IFA. Hello, 5G world. Now, our Deutsche Telekom's 5G rollout has started. So let's take a look. Two months ago, Telecom announced our 5G readiness. Today, our customers can experience live 5G. Berlin is a key part of our 5G rollout. 66 5G cells are now alive in Germany's biggest 5G cluster, over 6 kilometers squared. 5G is also live in Bonn, Darmstadt, Cologne, and Munich, and Hamburg and Leipzig will follow in 2019. Overall, 129 5G cells are now live, and we plan to have more than 300 live 5G cells by the end of this year. And by the end of 2020, we intend to bring 5G to 20 biggest German cities. We, Deutsche Telekom, bring 5G with 1 gigabit speed to you. 5G is not just about the network. It's how you experience it. We are excited to put 5G in your hands with a range of exciting new devices, including HTC 5G Hub, already launched, Xiaomi Mi Mix 3 5G, and Samsung Galaxy A19 5G, and also Samsung Galaxy Fold 5G. They are coming soon. All four are enabled by Qualcomm Snapdragon A55 mobile platform with the Snapdragon X50 5G modem. Super collaboration with Qualcomm in lab and also in field testing was key to ensure the best experience with these devices on our 5G network and be first with the early commercial 5G device launches. And now we just learned Qualcomm made a big announcement just before Cristiano, their new first integrated 5G so the mobile platform that I also very much looking forward to see. So please visit our booth to find out more about all the 5G devices in our portfolio. 5G is more than just a new radio standard. It is the next generation of network for the digital society. It will enable a multitude of new use cases in a new era beyond smartphone. At our Hubraum Tech Incubator here in Berlin, we work with the startup community to develop new 5G-enabled experiences and applications and make them tangible. This year, we initiated a project with 18 startups from 9 countries in our prototyping program. The partners get early, fast-track access to our real 5G and edge computing infrastructure to validate and also develop their ideas and applications in categories such as AR, VR, robotics, or virtual gaming. Our goal is to support commercializations of selected solutions, ultimately bringing to the best possible experience to our customers on our 5G network. And what's edge computing? The basic idea is to bring the server-side computing closer to the user device. This enables the offloading of complex and latency-critical computation, including AR rendering from device to the edge server. Edge is an important part of our 5G strategy to enable new real-time services such as gaming, real-time translations, or mapping. We started MobileEdgeX as a spin-off company to drive edge ecosystem development. We are not the experts in, for example, AR, VR device or content. So with MobileEdgeX, we co-create with the application developers, device makers, and other partners to explore and drive, for example, AR, VR experiences based on 5G and edge. So let's do ARs. Fantastic AR experiences await for you. Earlier this year, Telecom and MobileEdgeX partnered with the Niantic, the creator of Pokemon Go, and Samsung Mobile to showcase the world's first edge-enabled multiplayer AR experience, codenamed Neon, as you see in the background. With the Pokemon Go, Niantic proved that AR game in real life can be amazing and also fun, and drawing thousands together at mass events. But to connect all those players with the 4G networks is difficult, and the fast action gameplay between players is limited. So it missed a true multiplayer experience where you interact in real time with the virtual elements and other players on your display. Now this is possible with the 5G combined with Edge. Another example, let's do VR gaming. The company Bree is one of our Hoover partners. And Bree created a cloud-based application that coordinates the activity of multiple players in full-body AR, VR suit, as you see in the screen. For a great experience, the movements of the different VR players needs to be synchronized, which requires a stable, low end-to-end latency in the area of 30 to 50 milliseconds. And Bree achieves this using the low latency of 5G and powered by Edge Cloud. Full body VR is especially suited for gaming. And as you can see, it's a full-on fun experience. For 2020, an anniversary celebration of Beethoven in Bonn, we are developing an AR walking tour. You will experience it on a smartphone with AR kits in phase 1, and it will have features such as a real-time view of street right in front of you, courtesy of your phone's camera, with arrows directly overlaid on the way to show you where to go. Or contextual overlays telling you more about specific areas of interest. In phase 2, we want to have this on the smart glasses, so you can enjoy the more natural, hands-free experience. So that led me to make a conclusion here. First, 5G network rollout with Edge has started. Second, amazing 5G experience are being created. And last but not least, 5G will transform the way we interact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's such a pleasure to have our partners here with us. And like I said before, not one company can do everything. It's all about building an ecosystem together. And I won't stay much longer on stage, but when we think about devices, and we just go back in Europe, we're very happy to see the lineup of devices with our Snapdragon chipsets that are being launching in Europe. It's devices in the premium tier and across a large number of manufacturing, providing consumer choices and really validating that Europe is ready to scale 5G. But when we talk about devices, rather than me talking about it, we'd like to bring the industry leader to tell you more about what we can do with 5G. It is also my pleasure to introduce Dr. Jun Hee Lee from Samsung to the stage to talk to you about that.
Thank you, Cristiano.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Thank you for being here with us.
It's great to be here today to tell you about how Samsung and Qualcomm have worked together to defy barriers and launch the 5G era. At Samsung, we believe in uninterrupted mobile experiences that unlock human potential, improve people's lives, and flow seamlessly and continuously wherever you go. We can now achieve this vision because game-changing technologies like 5G have created the perfect environment for rapid innovation and change. I'm very proud to say that no company has done more to make 5G a reality than Samsung. Together with our partners, we have made 5G available faster than anyone thought possible. Today, more than 2 million consumers around the world can connect to 5G networks using Samsung 5G smartphones. And we expect that number to more than double by the end of the year. We move toward a world where smartphone is the essential gateway to a new generation of 5G-driven experiences by working with carrier partners to offer Samsung's first 5G smartphones wherever 5G networks are available. In just past 5 months, we have launched 5 new 5G smartphones: the Galaxy S10 5G, the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus 5G, and we just announced Galaxy A90 5G and Galaxy Fold 5G. I don't know if you had the chance to take a look at our Galaxy Fold. So here is a peek. These sleek, slim, and powerful devices connect consumers to advanced 5G capabilities through cutting-edge design that Samsung has always been known for. Of course, this is just the beginning. We will continue to defy barriers in our quest to inspire passion for new mobile experiences. But we know we cannot do it by ourselves. Success requires open collaboration with partners who believe, as we do, in innovation without limits. There is no better example of the power of open collaboration than our partnership with Qualcomm. Together, we have been at the forefront of innovation and progress since the beginning of the cellular technology revolution. Extending beyond the smartphone, we recently announced the Galaxy Book S together, bringing the always-on, always connected experience that open new mobile computing and transforming it forever. This truly is an exciting time. Here, at the beginning of 5G era, we are leading this industry forward by cultivating an ecosystem along the curves that we will expand, access, and accelerate innovation stronger and faster. Today, we are combining Samsung's advanced features and design with Qualcomm's high-performance 5G chipsets to deliver unprecedented speed and connectivity through our growing portfolio of 5G-enabled products. And by harnessing the power of 5G and AI, we are pioneering experiences that are immersive, personal, and intelligent. With minimum latency and maximum reliability, 5G will give a completely new way of viewing experiences, from one-way streaming to much richer, personalized, and interactive engagement. Users can choose the viewing angles, replay specific moments, or catch the details that they may have missed. Ultimately, 5G will pave the way for safe, autonomous vehicles, ultra-productive smart factories, and precise robotic surgeons. It will change how people interact with the world by placing us in the middle of digital spaces built on augmented and mixed reality. The enterprise and manufacturing will never be the same, with 5G networks powering a variety of devices, such as PCs, industrial equipment, and more. And it will generate the data to create efficient and sustainable smart homes, smart offices, and smart cities. More than just the features on a smartphone, we need an approach to 5G that will fuel invention and transform our industries and our communities for decades to come. This is why we are working with Qualcomm and other industry leaders to bring 5G capabilities to more devices and create new experiences for consumers. Through open collaboration, we will maximize opportunities for invention and create a future filled with meaningful progress and change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. We're very grateful for the continued and close collaboration between our two companies. Nothing can separate really Qualcomm and Samsung, especially in a new technology transition. So we're very, very proud of our partnership with Samsung. So now I'm back to tell you about experiences. So we went to this conversation about how much better what we do every day gets with 5G. How are we going to transform some of the existing services with 5G? But we expect to see new experiences coming to devices. An amazing experience by combining artificial intelligence, the ability to have more popular and more powerful multimedia, and think about immersive entertainment. The way to think of the smartphone, it has replaced many consumer electronic devices. When you think about the consumer electronics industry, one by one, many of those devices became incorporated as features in your smartphone. And why not continue to go down this trend as you have now the capability of 5G and AI? Snapdragon had a big role in making this possible, and that's how we think of the continued evolution of capability of our processors for those use cases. And I want to start with the second most popular use case after video, which is gaming. And we are at the beginning of a transformation. We have worked very hard to meet demands for gamers as we look at the mobile ecosystem as being prime for mainstream gaming. So first, I want to show you a video. It's for China Joy, Asia's biggest gaming event. Please watch this video. At China Joy, a new phone was announced with Snapdragon Elite Gaming, and is now available in Europe. Wednesday at IFA, ASUS Republic of Games 2 smartphone was launched. And it brings with the Snapdragon 855 the performance that is 855 Plus. I almost forgot. It was Snapdragon 855 Plus. It brings the performance that gamers want for their devices. And the message here is that we are, as I said earlier, at the beginning of this transformation. And Snapdragon Elite Gaming is how to bring PC console quality game to mobile devices. In the case of this device, we work with ASUS and Tencent to deliver an unparalleled mobile gaming experience. And as you think about what's going to happen next, high-speed 5G will allow you to first download high-quality games in seconds, but will bring a new era of gaming experience, as you can now also build on streaming of gaming as well as the computing power of the cloud. And with 5G and Snapdragon Elite Gaming, we're working very hard to make the next gaming console the last console. And that is one of the new transformations we're going to see in the industry. The entire gaming industry, like many other industry in consumer electronics, is now moving to the smartphone with mainstream gaming title. There's a lot more smartphone users for game developers, and that is the speed that we're going to see this transition, which I think it actually started with Fortnite. So we're very excited about that. And building on experiences, the next one is mobile computing. We have been relentless working to build a connected, always connected PC to users everywhere. And we have now, from building the devices with Snapdragon for all-day battery life and instant on and connectivity everywhere, now it's time to also bring that with 5G. And I want to leave you with the message. It's going back to the conversation of digital transformation. The improvements in the collaboration, in the creation, in productivity, more than pay for the cost of connectivity. It will create PC as a service and will be part of the transformation of the 5G connected enterprise. We never been more aligned with the future of Microsoft as a company than now with the always connected PC that drives the cloud-based power of Azure and many other cloud-based information systems with a PC that is 5G connected. And that will be the transformation of the enterprise experience. And if you want to know more about everything we're doing, I want to have a call out for our Snapdragon Tech Summit that is going to happen later this year. That's where we're going to detail many of the announcements made today. We're going to detail and announce our next flagship Snapdragon, provide a lot of user experience detail on our 7 series that will scale 5G, show you how we have our integrated 5G SoC, and yes, it's going to support both NSA and SA, if you were wondering. But before I move on, I have one more piece of Snapdragon news. We had at the show, very proud of a new partnership with Puma. And they're very kind to send me the device. This is the new Puma smartwatch, first full touch display, powered with Snapdragon Wear 3100. And we're very excited for the Puma team. I recommend you to check it out. And before I get off this slide, I also want to say thank you, Puma team, for sending me those nice Snapdragon red shoes. It has the Snapdragon logo on it, if you can see it. Okay, so moving on, it's about going beyond mobile smartphones to other industries. That's one of the key promises and changes from 5G. And we'll start looking at how, as we smart cities, healthcare, manufacturing, all of those industries can be transformed, and that's where we see the majority of the economic impact. I remind you of the 12 trillion global economic impact of 5G. And to get that, we needed to bring more capabilities to the ecosystem. So one of the other announcements we're going to make today is how can we bring 5G to more places? And as you look of many of the operator use cases, as they think of upgrading your phone to smartphones, building solutions for the IoT and industrial and smart cities, we also want to deliver of this promise of fixed wireless that we've been saying for a number of years. How can we use wireless to connect the unconnected? Can 5G help us, deliver that? And that's why we're very happy to the last part of our announcements today, which is about bringing 5G to more places. We're very proud to announce in the Sub-6 the partnership with AVM to do the world's first Fritzbox with 5G Sub-6. It's the first home router network with mesh convenience for smart home applications. It will replace the physical cable and supports all your devices with Wi-Fi. That's going to be available at the IFA show. And the other announcement is this one. We're now solving the problem of millimeter wave for fixed wireless. We're announcing our first fully integrated extended range millimeter wave solution. It's part of the expanded feature set of the X55. Devices will be available in the first half of 2020, and it's going to enable an augment or an alternative to fiber in suburban, rural, and dense urban areas with millimeter wave, increasing the propagation range. We have been working with a number of operators. It's been supporting the expansion of the operator, business plans for 5G, and we're very excited to see that also in Europe in 2020. And as we move on our journey of new use cases in industry, The last piece I want to talk about you today is transportation. We saved the best for last. Transportation is a great example of disruption with 5G. The car is inherently mobile. And as you look at an industry that is being changing is the automotive industry. 3/4 of all new vehicles are expected to have cellular by 2025. Search for road safety, greater efficiency of travel, and energy use. It's not just only about exhaust emissions, but how we create an efficient transportation system will leverage 5G technology. Also, once you connect the car, it's about creating a new array of services that will benefit from the car connected to the cloud. And from that, we can connect everything around us, connecting the car to the infrastructure and with pedestrian, with technologies such as cellular V2X. That is a great opportunity for us as an industry. And that will help us change how we think about our experiences behind the wheel and redefine the experience of the vehicle screens, and how the vehicle connects with the cloud. 18 of the top 20 car makers selected Qualcomm for its digital cockpit solution. And we're working with virtually every car maker in the industry about the connected car with enhanced telematics and moving to 5G. I would like to bring here at the stage at IFA to really explain to you how we see this transformation into automotive section. And actually, it's about partnering with leaders in this industry. So please welcome Dr. Christoph Groth from BMW to join us on stage. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Dr. Groth.
Thank you, Cristiano. It's great to be here in Berlin. Now, before I look ahead at what 5G will actually do for the automotive industry, let me take a quick look back at the history of the connected car. If you look at this, it's a long history. It's a history of believing in the connected car, and it's a history of actually pioneering. Now, that history for us required strong partners. Partners that we could share and shape a vision with, and partners that had the stamina to actually ship it. So Qualcomm, actually, for us, was one of those partners that had exactly those two capabilities. If you look at all those milestones, what you see, the milestones of basically infotainment in the car, a lot of that really builds on connectivity. The red thread here is connectivity. And Cristiano and I really believe that this will be even more so in the decade to come. Now, those 20 years actually have generated something else. Those 20 years have generated a tremendous fleet of BMWs out there which are already connected. And that formidable fleet is really crucial. Now, if you look at this, this is a day in the life of BMW that you've just seen with all those connected cars. Now, why is that important? For us, having that connected fleet is a really important competitive advantage, because actually we think a lot of new features will actually be based on crowd data being generated in those cars, being sent up into the cloud, being processed in the cloud, and then generating services for BMW cars and BMW drivers. Let me take you through one example, which is local danger warning. Local danger warning is a tremendously helpful feature in order to improve road safety. How does it work? A car really is a big sensor cluster. A car realizes a lot of dangers in its surroundings. Dangers like aquaplaning, dangers like, for example, icy roads, dangers like fog that we can actually see, dangerous curves ahead that we sense and quite accurately actually measure, traffic jams, end of queues, and quite a bit more, precipitation. Now, all those features they can be collected, and rather than being forgotten, they can be shared with all those other cars. And that's what we do today. In the 3 Series, in the X5, we actually send a lot of these events up there to the cloud, process them, and then we share them with a complete fleet. Now that scheme is really important to us because it's a scheme that we'll use heavily throughout a lot of features. Look at, for example, the advanced driver assistance system, the cameras. The cameras actually create quite a good 3D image of the surroundings of the car. And that 3D image actually is permanently checked whether it's consistent with the image that's stored in the car, and any difference detected will be sent up to the cloud. Now, that way, with the fleet we have out there, we're actually constantly mapping out the transportation system, the road, with all its variabilities. The amount of data we're collecting here is quite big already, although we do all the pre-processing actually on the car side. If you imagine that in the future, when we say cloud first is one of the principles we want to pursue, and that's true for BMW, then you'll find that a lot of that data pre-processing will actually happen on the cloud side. So we'll transmit, rather than this data, we'll transmit the raw data and process it on the cloud side. Now just imagine what kind of bandwidth that's going to require. Now moving from cameras to actually the full ADAS sensor cluster with LiDARs, with radars, you can see that the image that every single car is generating in its surroundings, it's actually quite a rich image. You know, the problem being that in the past this has been forgotten right away. Now what we do is basically we send all the interesting aspects of this image, we send them up to the cloud, and we generate a real-time, high-definition, feature-rich map, which then really is the foundation for level 2, level 3, and beyond cars. To actually build that, it's really crucial to have reliable connectivity, to have bandwidth, so that this, which is a safety-critical feature, actually works as our customers expect. Now, if you look at what is really required from the automotive industry, then 5G is not just more bandwidth. It's not just moving from 250 terabytes to something like, for example, 10 petabyte that we estimate in order to do that online mapping. But it's very much about the quality of service. We depend on connectivity, and therefore 5G for us is the first major step where IoT is truly designed for dependable services. The next thing that's really important for us is IoT for us. We're a global company. We ship in about every country of the world. For us, the great thing about 5G is that it's truly unified, both in a technical way as, hopefully, also in a business way, so that we can actually build stacks that scale across the world. Beyond that, I think we have to assume that in some areas there will be patches with no 5G or lesser connectivity. I think for us it's important on the car side to create wonderful user experience that also degrade gracefully. Another important aspect that is a pain that but needs to be fulfilled, and Qualcomm does that, is actually backwards compatibility that needs to be architected into our solutions. That's important because our projects are pretty long-lived, and I'm proud to say that, and therefore they've got to work even towards the end of their lifetime out there in the field. Now, if I look actually into the future, what 5G is going to do for the automotive industry, then I think that future is actually very bright with 5G happening now. It's our dream come true, where finally, really, we can build not just that swarm intelligence I talked about into our cars, not just to build automated driving, even at high levels than 3, but for us, that swarm intelligence, the great thing is that it will not just be an isolated auto use case. If you look at the interconnectedness of cars with pedestrians, with traffic infrastructure, all the safety cases that I talked about, then for us, the great thing really is that 5G is a unified joint infrastructure actually for this massive and broad IoT opportunity. Speaking for BMW, we don't want to have an isolated infrastructure for automotive or even for BMW. What we're after really is an economy and an ecosystem out there which is a broad ecosystem, IoT ecosystem beyond auto, an ecosystem that shares data, also, by the way, beyond BMW. And I'm quite excited that we are going to tackle this over the next years, as we did in the past with Cristiano and Qualcomm. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
Thank you very much, Dr. Groth. It was fantastic. We're really looking forward to continued collaboration. And I can't wait to see those BMWs with our technology. We're getting to the end of our presentation here. And one of the final messages from Qualcomm. 5G really begins with your smartphone, but it won't end there. It won't stop until virtually every device in industry is connected with 5G. And we cannot really imagine all the use cases and what innovators will do across so many industries, but we know that that is going to be the most significant growth opportunity and the key ingredient for the digital transformation of society. And as we think about our role in the industry, it's really about developing the technology and supporting a model that scale with devices that across all those different industries. And I want to say that 5G is for everyone, and everyone will get to experience the benefits as we drive forward around the world and we drive 5G to scale, which is our next challenge. Hope you are as excited as we are, and this is only the beginning. The best for Qualcomm is yet to come. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to us at IFA. Thank you.